You don't notice it during the day. It hits at night. Your phone is silent. No messages, no plans. Just you, the dark, and one question you can't escape. What's wrong with me? Society answers fast. If you have no friends, you must be broken. Too weird. Too quiet. Too intense. That's a lie. Some people aren't alone because they failed socially. They're alone because they evolved past the herd. And if you're watching this, you've felt it your whole life. Parties felt fake. Conversations felt empty. You tried to fit in, but the mask never stayed on. That wasn't an accident. People who walk alone share rare psychological traits, not flaws, weapons. Today, we break down 7 of them. This isn't comfort, it's a mirror. Let's begin. Trait 1. You detect lies before words finish forming. Most people listen to what others say. You watch what they do. You notice pauses that last half a second too long, smiles that don't reach the eyes, compliments delivered with tension instead of warmth, agreement that feels forced. Your mind is constantly scanning for congruence, and when it's not there, your body reacts before your logic does. That's why fake people exhaust you. At a table full of laughter, you can feel who envies who is competing, who is pretending. To others, it's a good time. To you, it's a theater full of actors who forgot why they're acting. This makes you dangerous in social settings. Not loud, not aggressive, dangerous in a quieter way. You don't reinforce illusions. You don't nod along to nonsense. And people sense that you see through them, even if you never say a word. So they label you cold, intimidating, judgmental. What they really mean is this: you see me, and I don't like it. Many people don't lose friends because they are toxic. They lose friends because they stopped playing blind. Clarity has a cost. Loneliness is often the bill. Trait 2. You have zero tolerance for empty interaction. Small talk doesn't relax you. It drains you. Weather, gossip, complaints, recycled opinions, conversations that go nowhere and mean nothing. To most people, this is bonding. To you, it feels like suffocation. Your brain craves substance, ideas, patterns, strategy, meaning. You want conversations that sharpen you, not lull you into mental sleep. That's why you often feel out of place in groups. You're operating on a different bandwidth. When you try to go deeper, people get uncomfortable. They joke it away, change the subject, call you intense, so you stop trying. Silence becomes preferable to pretending curiosity where none exists. This is not arrogance, this is energy conservation. You realize something early: time is finite, attention is expensive, and wasting either feels physically wrong. You would rather sit alone with your thoughts than trade them for noise. Most people would rather trade depth for company. You chose the opposite. That choice narrows your circle fast. Trait 3. You instinctively resist control. Every group has rules that are never spoken out loud. Believe this. Hate that. Show up here. Laugh at this. Agree or be excluded. Most people obey without realizing they're obeying. You feel it immediately. When a group subtly pressures you to conform, your body reacts like it's under threat. Your chest tightens. Your patience thins. Something in you refuses. You don't respect authority just because it's popular. You don't adopt beliefs just because they're trending. You need logic, evidence, coherence. That makes you incompatible with groupthink, especially with narcissistic personalities. They want followers, not equals, agreement, not questions, and you ask questions. Why is the most dangerous word you can say to a fragile ego? So you get labeled difficult, arrogant, uncooperative, then you get excluded. Here's the part they don't understand. Exile doesn't break you, it clarifies you. While others bend to belong, you stand alone and stay intact. You traded approval for autonomy, and autonomy is a lonely currency. Trait 4. You are obsessed with building something. Most people use friends to kill time. You feel time passing like pressure. You are not waiting for the weekend. You are not drifting. You are aiming. There is something you are trying to build. A body, a skill, a philosophy, a business, a future version of yourself that demands sacrifice. This requires focus, obsession, long stretches of isolation. And here's the brutal reality. You cannot pursue greatness and maintain an active social calendar at the same time. Deep work and constant socializing use different parts of the brain. When one is on, the other shuts down. So you start saying no. No to nights out. No to pointless hangouts. No to distractions disguised as connection. Eventually, the invites stop. People assume you think you're better than them. You don't. You just know what your building costs more than they're willing to pay. History is full of builders who walked alone, not because they hated people, but because their mission demanded solitude. If you're isolated right now, there's a chance you're not failing socially. You're in a construction phase. Trait 5. You act as an unconscious mirror. Have you ever walked into a room and felt tension before you said anything? Have you ever been disliked without explanation? This isn't random. People who are self-contained and observant become mirrors for others, and most people hate what they see reflected back. Your calm highlights their chaos. Your independence exposes their dependency. Your silence amplifies their inner noise. They don't experience you as a person. They experience you as a threat. Psychology calls this projection. People attack what reminds them of their own weakness. That's why manipulators target you. Not because you're weak, but because you don't play the validation game. You don't automatically agree. You don't soothe excuses. When someone complains about a problem they created, you ask what they're going to do about it. That breaks the unspoken contract of mutual delusion. Most friendships are built on shared avoidance. You refuse to participate, so you become the villain in their story. That's not an insult. That's confirmation. Trait 6. You live in the future, not the moment. While others chase pleasure, you track consequences. You see patterns over time, habits turning into outcomes, choices compounding into destinies. When people say, relax, just enjoy tonight, your mind is already calculating tomorrow. This makes you seem serious, paranoid, detached. In reality, you are operating on a longer timeline. This trait shows up in strategists, leaders, and yes, in anxious minds that see too much too early. You struggle to connect with people obsessed with short-term drama because you are focused on long-term trajectory. It feels like trying to discuss architecture with someone who only cares about decorations. So you stand watch while others sleep. They mock you until the consequences arrive. Then they ask how you knew. By then, you're already moving forward. Living ahead of your time means walking ahead of the crowd, and the front of the line is always emptier. Trait 7. You generate your own fuel. This is the rarest one. Most people need constant external validation, attention, praise, reflection. Left alone too long, they unravel. You don't. You can sit in silence without panicking. You can work without applause. You can improve without witnesses. Your motivation is internal. Psychology calls this an autotelic personality. Purpose comes from the act itself, not the reward. You read because you need to know. You train because strength matters. You create because the idea won't leave you alone. This makes you immune to the primary control mechanism of society, social leverage. Do this or be excluded. Agree or be ignored. That threat collapses when someone doesn't fear solitude, and that terrifies people. A person who doesn't need approval cannot be controlled, so they distance themselves from you. Instinctively, they feel powerless around you, even if they can't explain why. Now combine all 7 traits. You see lies. You reject shallow connection. You resist control. You prioritize the mission. You expose insecurity. You think long-term. You don't need validation. That doesn't create a loser. It creates an outlier, and outliers rarely travel in packs. But there's a danger here. Isolation can rot into bitterness if you don't handle it correctly. Some people like you eventually lower their standards just to feel warmth. They let chaos back into their lives. Toxic people, empty friendships, noise. This is a mistake. Wearing a mask to belong hurts more than being alone. The loneliness of pretending is heavier than the loneliness of truth. So here is the shift you need to make. Stop seeing your solitude as a sentence. Start seeing it as a strategy. This is not punishment. This is training. Use the silence. Build in it. Sharpen in it. Maintain your standards even when it hurts. One aligned ally is worth more than a room full of distractions. Become excellent. Become undeniable. That's how your kind finds each other. Not by chasing, but by signaling. A lighthouse doesn't hunt ships. It stands firm and shines. And one last thing. Learn to survive among the herd without becoming it. Be polite. Be calm. Keep your depth reserved for those who earn access. Power doesn't need to announce itself. If you have few or no friends, you are not broken. You are simply incompatible with a shallow world. And that's not a flaw. That's the price of sovereignty. The empty chair across from you is not empty. It's reserved. Until the right minds arrive, honor the silence. Some paths are walked alone for a reason. If you want to learn more about dark psychology, hit like and subscribe. I'll see you next time.